Let me see. Yeah, are starting to record. We started. Yeah.
Greetings, greetings. This is a very special episode of Legion of Lilith. Um, Myself, Joseph Dougherty, and Demetrius. Demetrius, I don't want to slaughter your last name out of all respect.
Yeah, Demetrius Triarius. So essentially, guys, today we have a special show for you. So we gathered the guests for the next season of the show, and you will have amazing interviews, guys. But we decided to open a season with something else, with something new, because our brother Joseph had some badass mega giga super saiyan spiritual transformation recently, so we want to share that with you.
So yeah, this episode is going to concentrate on a lot of practical uses for your spirituality. There's going to be exorcisms, there's going to be formulas against anger, hatred, fear, self-doubt, all these formulas. These things are temporary. You're going to have to repeat these formulas because the demons, the angels, they exist within you. They exist, they're in your muscles, they're in your bones, they're in your blood, they're they're in your entire body, the demons and the angels. So these formulas will have to be repeated if you are experiencing fear, anger, hatred. You want to just cut someone down. You want to curse someone. You could utter these formulas now. We're going to do an invocation of King Solomon. So if you haven't done an operation of the Bornless Rite, an invocation of Solomon will get you on your way to your magical career. You will be able to invoke, you will be able to evoke, you will be able to call upon demons, angels, Olympic spirits, whatever spiritual force you want to call upon, you'll be able to do after the invocation of Solomon. Now, to start off, I have to give a disclaimer. Demetrius or myself cannot be held responsible for any information that's misinterpreted on the part of the audience. It's up to the audience to know what they are consuming. So we're going to start off with some practical stuff. So this is from the doctrine. This part of the information being presented is from the doctrine of Samael on Muir. Now he's a ascended master. He is the avatar of the archangel Samael in the prior epoch. Okay, so Samael on Muir teaches that if you practice these vibrations 1 hour 1 hour a day, you will develop these occult powers, and I will explain to you specifically what occult powers you will develop. Now, this episode's big. We are releasing the most valuable information in a short amount of time out of any episode we've ever done before. Okay, so the first one is you are going to utter the syllable of I. So, you vibrate that. That is going to awaken your pituitary and your pineal gland. That you will develop clairvoyance. Next is E. So that sounds like a. That is going. You're going to vibrate that. That is going to awaken your thyroid, and that is going to give you clairaudience. Next is O, the letter O. So A-E-I-O-U, I, M, and S. So O is going to open your heart, and this is going to give you intuition. Now, what you're doing when you're vibrating these, you're opening the 7 churches, you're opening the 7 chakras, you're opening portals for angels to come and assist you. You're intuitively saying, I need some help here. My clairvoyance isn't up to par. My clairaudience, I want to develop occult powers. You're opening portals for these angels to come and assist you. Okay, the next one is you. So, ooh, that will open your solar plexus. That will develop telepathy. The next one is A. that is going to open up your lungs. That is going to give you remembrance of past lives, remembrance of information that you may have retained, you may have forgotten. So this is going to promote remembrance. And the next one is M and S. Those two you are going to vibrate, and that will develop different occult powers. That's up to you to figure out what you're going to develop. So IEOUAMS. Vibrate those 1 hour a day. I guarantee you all of the powers that I described will awaken and aliven. This, trust me. So the next formula, this is a formula against anger, fear, envy, hatred. So you're going to utter Elohim, Malakim, Cherubim, do battle for me in the name of Tetragrammaton. Again, that's Elohim, Malakim, Cherubim, do battle for me in the name of Tetragrammaton. Another formula is Malachim, protect me in the name of Yodke Vodke. Now, how you're uttering those syllables makes a difference. You're going to say, Malachim, protect me in the name of Yodke Vodke. Now, before you start any magical operation, this is a universal formula to call upon whatever you want to call upon. You're going to utter Ata Gabor Elolam Adonai Yodke Vodke El Shaddai Sabaoth Ijah Asher Ijah. Now, uttering that, you're opening potentials, angelic and demonic potentials within you. Before you start any magical operation, do that, and I guarantee you will notice more movement. You'll notice more subtle movement. You'll notice more sensory perception that will awaken and enliven all of your senses. So next, we're going to do the invocation of Solomon. Now, this is a Gnostic formula, again, that was given by Samael on Muir. He's the avatar of Archangel Samael. So you're going to say, I invoke the wisdom and intelligent principle of King Solomon. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. I invoke the power and force of Valkizadek. Ichye, Aser, Ichye, I am the solar man. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. I now command all darkness and ignorance, be gone! Now you have to have that anger, or you won't move shit. You have to really get that demonic fire going, and then they will move. Trust me, they will move. The next thing you're going to utter is Zlit Ketel Epoch. That is going to open a new timeline for you. Zlit Ketel Epoch. Zlit Ketel Epoch. Suleiman Olam Meveshkial. Adam Kadmon. Adam Kadmet. Adam Malhut. That's the invocation of Solomon. You will open up solar potentials within you. Your pineal gland will start vibrating. This process will... Now, this is no bullshit. This is straight up Kabbalistic secrets that whatever lodge you practice, you will open up these powers. Now, the next formula is, if you have a problem with chronic masturbation, Spilling your seed, that's probably the worst thing you could do if you are a creative person. Spilling your seed creates negative entities in your environment. Your creative principle, you are a part of God. That is your water, that is your breath. You are creating negative entities that look just like you, and they are your adversaries. They follow you around. So if you have a problem with, if you have lustful thoughts that just jump up, now it's a part of human life. We all want to have sex. We all want to follow our passions. But the key is for males to not spill your seed. That is your creative impulse. That is your blood code. That is your birthright. That is what is going to make you an illumined. It's going to come from your atomic regions below the root, your kunda buffer. It'll rise up your spine to your head and flow outward to your crown. So this will not hurt Lilith. You can't hurt Lilith. This will just, the Lilith inside of you will transform into Shekinah, and the lustful creative impulse will turn into a positive creative impulse. So this is the formula that you're going to utter for that. Shinoi, Samsonoi, Samangaloth, Adam ve Hava, Chops, Lilith. One more time. Sinoi, Samsonoi, Samangaloth, Adam ve Hava, Chops, Lilith. Your thoughts will revolve around something more positive temporarily. The stuff is temporary. But these are formulas that you can utter that will help you balance these forces within you to allow you to have more of a positive effect rather than a negative effect on your outside environment. Your universe around you, the loved ones that revolve around you. They are planets that revolve around you. All of the people that are brought into your life are planets and stars that revolve around you. Okay? Now, what are we trying to accomplish here? We are trying to accomplish internal peace. We are trying to reconcile the angelic and the demonic forces that are within us. Now, you need both of those forces. Those forces are the force and the form that get shit done in Malkuth, in the Black Earth, this realm. So recognize that you are Satan. Recognize that you are the archangel. To get anything done in this life, you must reconcile these forces inside of you. How? So you're going to give the command for movement. This is called the verb. You're going to utter the verb or the verbiage. This is the action word that will inspire forces to move up your middle pillar. Instead of these forces either jumping onto your pillar of severity, which will make you judge other people, will make you hurt other people. This is the pillar of severity. It will make things severe on you as well. On the other side, the opposite pole, this is the right side. Your right arm is the pillar of mercy. Now you want to vibrate in the middle. You don't want too much to the right because you're going to be apathetic. You're not going to give a fuck. You're going to be tranquil. You don't want that. You don't want too much to the left because anger will rule you and rule your life. Trust me, these forces will devour you. Anger is a real tough one to overcome. So you want to vibrate somewhere in the middle for these forces to reconcile. When you walk the middle pillar, you transmute the black devil, and you can rule your sphere of influence with the black devil. But the thing with that is other black devils want to usurp your throne and take your head. So when you're operating in that realm, there's a lot of black devils and a lot of black devils that are awakened, and they all want to usurp your throne and take your head. So when you transmute these forces, the black devil that is you transmutes into Hillel ben Shahar, who is the glorious Christos Lucifer. Now, what happens when this transmutation begins and you turn your black devil into Hillel ben Shahar, the glorious Christos Lucifer, the creator understands that you have taken advanced forms of initiation and he expands you. Now your sphere of influence is expanding. You're reaching more people. You have a message that is real, not a fake one. You have a real message and you're starting to expand. Now, expansion is learning, helping others, defeating your lower self, your God self, over your animalistic beast. That is your urges to eat sugary foods, to masturbate, to smoke cigarettes, do drugs. That's your lower nature. That's your lower animal beast. Now, trust me, I have a gorilla, a fucking animal, Therionic god beast that lives in me. But you can make it submit. This is your higher nature conquering your lower nature. So when your lower nature wins, when you smoke that cigarette or do that drugs, you do what is called a zimzum, a retraction. That means your sphere of influence gets smaller. That means less people are paying attention to you. Less people are. You're influencing pretty much only yourself at the end. You're just in a world by yourself. You're just, no one even knows you're there. You're a ghost. You're a phantasm. So that contraction is causing conflict, discord, disunity, separation from self. So that's a pretty easy concept to understand there. So let me explain. In most satanic circles, Yod He Vod He is, oh, tetragrammaton, dirty word. Oh, no, that's God. But no, it's a concept. Yod Ki Vod Ki, Yod relates to the 10 Sephiroth, the creative worlds of Absolute, the potentials all around you. You live in Malhut. So Yod, that's the phallic principle, the masculine principle. And the rest of the three letters is Hey Vod Hey. So you're literally saying Yod Hava. So that's the tetragrammaton literally is Adam and Eve in unity. That's all the tetragrammaton is. It's not God. It's Adam and Eve in unity. Is the tetragrammaton El Shaddai? Okay, that's when you unite these forces within yourself. Now you're in control. You're in command. So, a conjuration of the seven churches or the seven archangels or the locks that you have to unlock within your spiritual centers. You say, in the name of Adama and Hava, be gone. Let us love in peace, Nahema. So that's another formula that will unite you and turn the negative feminine principle into the Shekinah. So we have given a lot of secrets in this short video, and I hope you guys put some of this stuff into practice. It works. It fucking works. All of my occult work has led up to this day, up to this broadcast. And yeah, that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Demetrius, what have you been up?
I really have heavily been investigating left-hand path Hinduism. A really powerful left-hand path Hindu course is coming today on the channel. It will probably be uploaded before this interview gets uploaded. And we really came a long way, and this is a really good way for us to start a new season with new reborn Joseph and Demetrius. So how it kind of went is Joseph went a little bit to the right, and I left a lot to the left. So we are kind of opposing sides of the same coin. He's kind of starting to work towards the balance while I became more extreme. And it's interesting to see how both you and I are evolving in different directions, yet we are still friends and associates and allies. And we understand each other despite of the fact that we are on different paths.
Oh, Demetrius is my best friend. Is my best friend out here. That's my fucking blood. That's my brother. Both of these paths will lead you to the same place. Okay, and it's the journey. There's no end destination. You will just expand or contract. Symptom.
Yeah, but I kind of like we can like talk about all kinds of stuff, but this is a really short interview, so I don't want to turn it into a longer one.
No, I
But
want to hear. I want to hear what you've been working on, Demetrius.
so what I have been working on is essentially understanding a single verse of the Hindu Dravidian scriptures I received. And I can say the verse, like I cannot say the entire thing, but I can say the verse because audience needs to understand this verse. Because this verse is, in my opinion, the essence of the left-hand path. And the verse states, we give unto him the unseen our meditative attention. For we follow the path of the bewitched Zananantin.
Mm.
We venerate this material world through sacrilegious offering and not divine one. So this is technically the verse. And the verse is really interesting. So I need to repeat it once again for people to hear because this is really important. We give unto him Dantin or meditative attention on the path of bewitched Zananatin. We venerate the material world with sacrilegious offering and not the divine one, as the Brahman wills, for he approaches, so he is approached in a way he chooses. So what technically this states is, let me kind of translate. The Danti is the shadow form of Ganesha, the negative demonic form of Lord Ganesh. Zanananti is the kind of ancient disciple of Dante. So he is like a human disciple of this dark deity. And the rest of the verse technically explains that on the left hand path, you venerate the material world. Now, why is that the case? It seems absurd to venerate the material world and not the divine one. But technically, this material world is comprised of large amounts of negative energy mixed with positive energy. So, through accumulating things in the material world and using different tantric techniques, you accumulate the negative energy. And then the last part of the world of the verse essentially explains how that enormous negative energy accumulated can be reached and can be used to reach the absolute. So essentially, I will not go into deep analysis of this verse, and I will not present the verse in original Dravidian scripture because I am not allowed to by the people who gave it to me. But essentially, I want to tell the audience that material world is pretty much comprised of the same type of energy as the spiritual one. The only thing which is different in density is density. So accumulating the power in the material world could be one of the ways of reaching the Brahman, and it is one of the ways of reaching the Brahman. So a left-hand path in its core is a version or a philosophy of spiritual materialism. You pursue spiritual attainment through material experience, which generates spiritual result. So let me give you the most drastic example of this. Okay, so you conjure a negative entity, for example, Vinayakadantin, and you give to Vinayakadantin enormous blood sacrifice, right? So it can be even done with your own blood. It doesn't have to be somebody else's blood. So through that material experience of bloodletting and self-mutilating, you are essentially coming into contact with Vinayakadantin, which results in spiritual elevation with negative energy, infusion with that. So the essence of the Lifetime Path Tantra is pursuing the spiritual experience through the material world instead of denying the material world in order to have a spiritual experience, which is the philosophical basis of other schools. And so, in many ways, because of the fundamental difference between worldviews of the left-hand path tantrics and other more prominent spiritual systems, what left-hand path tantrics do to attain spiritual experience can be seen as anti-spiritual to those who do not understand the tantric philosophy. But it is indeed truth from my own experience that the material action, which is sacrilegious in nature, can give the insight into destructive side of the Brahman, into destructive side of the creator, which can indeed lead to enlightenment. And this is explained in Hinduism indirectly, not directly, by the fact that the majority of left-hand path tantrics are Shaivites. Now, what is Shiva? Shiva is essentially destructive aspect or the destructive form of the divine. So essentially, all of the left-sided spiritual paths in all cultures are forms of Shaivism because you venerate the destructive aspect of God in order to reach God. And it is essentially the same current of energy incarnated in different cultures under different names, but it's still the same thing. In all cultures, it involves sacrilegious acts, it involves using material experience to have spiritual results, and it involves transcending the divine through the destructive and sacrilegious energy of what is considered to be impure. So let me give you an example. Let me give you a parallel. So in the Old Testament, Azazel was approached back in the day through orgiastic rites, which sometimes even included zoophilia. And there is like archaeological evidence for this. Also, the tribe of Levi used to perform special rites where they fed off the sin of the people of Israel in order to commune with Azazel. Those two things were common and commonly known in ancient times in Israel, and they were so common that the rabbinates had to issue proclamations against those practices and execute those people. And there is a parallel of the same behavior pretty much in India. So in India, there are a lot of tantric technologies for feeding of negative energy. What is meant by sin is actually the negative impure energy you accumulate through material actions of certain kind. So in left-hand path tantra, you have also techniques of feeding of negative energy, and there is a significant number of rituals involving some form of sexual contact with either demonic entities or impure matter. So you can see two completely different cultures in different parts of the globe, which are separated by thousands and thousands of years, using the same technology. And the only reason for them using same technology, in my rationale, is because they are trying to tap into the same spiritual current using different names. So Hebrews would use names of Azazel, Hindus would use name of dark tantric forms of Shiva. So then again, I am not saying that Shiva and Azazel are the same spirit per se. What I am saying is that they are incarnations of the same destructive aspects of the divine. And indeed, that impure element, that unorthodox element, that transgressive element, but not transgressive element in a philosophical sense. I am referring to transgressive elements in the literal sense. So literally doing acts which are transgressive is necessary for accumulation of negative energy in the left-hand path. So in order to follow the left-hand path, there needs to be a degree of transgressiveness. So for example, there is in the Western right-hand path circles, at least, a doctrine which states that body has to be a sign line and animalistic desires have to be sign line. Well, if we take it from the opposite approach, we claim that the animalistic desires and accumulation of negative energy, which results in fulfillment of those desires, is a path to God, actually. Then we should do the opposite. Instead of murdering the body through asceticism, we should train it to athleticism. Instead of denying the sexual pleasure for the sake of celibacy, we should summon demonic entities to partially possess our sexual partners and give them the offering of that energy. Instead of forgiving our neighbors, we should curse those same neighbors at mass scale in order to accumulate the amount of energy necessary for our auras to be filled with it. Instead of blessing the areas, we should open the pathways into the negative realms so that those negative realms can saturate the world and infuse us with enormous amount of energy. So there is one thing I need to correct here, which is don't curse people who do you absolutely nothing, and don't essentially open the gateways into the negative realm without knowing what you're doing. Because if you open them too early, what can happen is you can go insane. So there is a one piece of advice I need to give, which is negative energy is destructive, and there is nothing which you can do to change it. There is nothing which you can do to claim that negative energy is not destructive. You need, in order to follow the left-hand path, you need to accept the fact that it is a path of transgression. It is a path of negativity. It is a path of destruction. And so if you try to water down those entities and approach them as if they are not that, you will be destroyed and end up miserable, because the spirits we are discussing here and the forces we are discussing here are not psychological constructs. They exist within us, and they also exist outside of us in a really tangible way. And so if you try to present wolf as a sheep, you will be massacred, especially if you approach wolf as it is sheep. from a practical standpoint. And I have advice, which is heavily physically train and feed your body, build it into a fortress, and work with negative energy on a daily basis. As soon as you feel overwhelmed by the energy, train even heavier, and for a time, you can call negative entities, but not to absorb the negative energy. Instead, call the entities simply to attune to the energy which is already in your system. And only when you feel normally and when you feel that you are able to carry all of the energy on your shoulders without negative consequences, then you can ask for more negative energy. Because there is too many people here who ask for heavy material gain, for heavy negative energy empowerment, for heavy spiritual empowerment on the left-hand path. And they want to do process too quickly, without proper training, without proper refinement, without proper diet, without proper discipline. And they end up irreparably destroyed, irreparably damaged, mentally, physically, spiritually. And this is not a marathon. Left-hand path is not a marathon. It's a process. You can reach God in transgressive manner, but this path demands equal discipline as the right-hand path oriented school. The discipline is equal, the tools are different, but the discipline is equal and the danger is equal. What I also need to...
Both schools are teaching sex magic, the White Lodge and the Black Lodge. The White Lodge does not teach celibacy. It teaches for your now a male partner to invoke Hashem, the female partner to invoke Shekinah. You're sending the delight up. Now, in the sex act, you pursue your passion. You really let the spirit of Hashem possess you. You really let the spirit of Shekinah possess her, but you don't spill. You're using all of that creative force. It will rise up your spine and sit in either Tamael or Keter. It will sit there. That's what will illuminate you. Now, in the Black Tantric schools, they are teaching to pursue that, to pursue through transgression. Now, I have all the books. There's things that I will never know, because to open specific cliffas, you're supposed to have sex with deformed people, have sex with elderly people, have sex with animals, these are clippers that I'm never going to open. These are things I will never know, but there's power and there's knowledge there. I'm not going to say there's not. There is. Through that sexual transgression, you will open up certain spiritual forces within you that will give you empowerment, for sure. But these are extreme practices, like Demetrius is saying. You better be able to handle it. You better be able to handle it.
Yeah, so we pretty much said everything we wanted to say on this interview, and this was like a pretty good interview. I'm not gonna lie. We gave a bunch of practical advice, and this interview will definitely be something I advise everybody who is interested in those arts to watch and to pay close attention to from both perspectives. However, there is like aspect which you mentioned, that the White Lodge teaches sex magic, and I kind of agree, but I also disagree with that, because White Lodge teaches sex magic, yes, in some variations, but it is observed as a spiritual act which is symbolically represented through sex in a way. So in that operation, sex is denied as animalistic endeavor. And you need to approach it and be in a state of mind in which majority of people are not. In order to do that effectively, you need to practice sex, but also at the same time be detached from the animalistic aspects of it. That is necessary for a right-hand path approach to this form of magic. But on a left-hand path spectrum, on a transgressive spectrum, that animalistic part of sex is actually necessary. You use that sex in order to go into the lower animal, so that as a lower animal, you can attract the negative energy you need. So the sex is used in both cases, but it is used in a completely different way. And since majority of people are not capable to have sex without lower animal, it means that sex magic taught by the right hand path schools is not the sex in a way we see it. I mean, I would rather call it the right hand path position on sex. I would rather call it like a sacred union than sex in a conventional sense.
You
So
see,
yeah,
but you have to understand that a lot of this stuff is hidden. In satanic schools, they teach you the inverted pentagram. You're keeping all the power for yourself. But in left-hand path, sex magic rites, you're spilling your seed. Those are the creative sparks you're leaving on the ground for the negative forces to turn into demons. Now, the other way to do it is you're sending it up to your brain to illuminate your head. You are becoming the archangel. You are becoming the representative of God. You are keeping that power. You're not giving it away. You're actually giving it away through the left side. You're keeping it through the right side. Give left, keep right. Keep right. Give left, keep right.
so
At least
yes, and this is kind of really insightful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this interview, and we'll definitely like talk soon again, me and Joseph. I think outside of like our usual interviews, we should have like those talks more often, because me and Joseph really, when we go in front of a camera and when we open up, and discuss as buddies shit, it really motivate both of us to think. Because yeah, we presented some really important concepts for you guys, and talk to you soon. Bye, Joseph.